Paul, how are you? Bundy back in the fold. How much of a boost is that to the team and squad?
Yeah, it's great. He's brilliant personality to have around the place. He trained quite well today, and it just adds to the group. It's great to have that leadership, that kind of personality around the place, helping guys, talking to guys. He trained with the Bibs today, so he was good with them. So it's excellent to have him back in.
Thank you. Neil?
These 2 games over the next 2 weeks, if you win both, it's a triple crown. Has that been part of the messaging yet in terms of just like this 2-week block, 2 games, triple crown?
No, just the next game. I think particularly after a good result against England, you just want to focus on the next game and the next thing, and even the next training session really is what the lads were talking about. We just trained there, and that was the main focus. So it was a big D-Day for us. So it's only about getting better from the last performance. Even though it was a good result, there's plenty of things we have to improve on, and that's been the sole focus. We haven't discussed trophies or silverware or anything like that. And we might, I think, we always come into a campaign trying to win it, and we don't shy away from it. And sure, Andy has a meeting tomorrow, he might mention it, I don't know. But really the focus for us as coaches and players has just been about getting set for the Welsh game.
Susanna?
Yeah, sorry. The break, the fallow week, do you feel that came at a good time? Or would you have liked to almost continue that momentum from the win in England?
It is what it is. It is what it is. 3 weeks in a row is quite tough on the players. Physically, it's quite tough, but also mentally, it's quite tough. They're all big weeks. They're not. They're international weeks. There's a lot of media surrounding the games. The players, obviously, it's important. The game is big for them. We obviously had a tough day against France, and there's a bit of mental tiredness comes from that. So look, I was glad of it anyway. And we trained really well last week. Those fallow weeks, sometimes you're trying to strike the right note. You're reviewing a game, but you don't have a game that weekend. You want to allow the players. Most of the time you get to Friday, you have to convince yourself you're not tired. You're trying to allow the players to feel a little bit tired. Training was a bit more fun, but we got a load of things in place as well for the Welsh game, and then they got a weekend off, a weekend to spend at home with their families. So, quite a lot of the lads have kids. There's a lot of newborns around the place. So, it was a good week for us. I liked it as 3 games and 2 games. But I wouldn't like if it was 5 weeks in a row. So, so it was a good week for us.
Thanks. Luke?
Hi, Paul. Can I just ask you about James, though? Obviously, he's a loss away from the pitch. But is he a loss, when he's not in the change room, like ruled out for injury like this? He's a big character to lose in the group.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's great fun. He's great fun around the place. Big personality. So he is a loss around the place. I suppose Bundy's kind of replaced him. We've had Rugby in as well training this week, so it's been great to have the 2 of them in. But it is what it is. It just gives an opportunity for someone else now to step up, and it's part and parcel of the game. So it's unfortunate for him. I'd love to have seen him in the last few weeks, but as I said, it's part and parcel of the game.
Ruth?
Hello, Paul. I'm just thinking back to the England game, and we see how important it was for the players' confidence, but how important was it for you all as coaches? We saw you all celebrating a lot. How important was it just for you guys as well? Because when things aren't going well, you come under pressure, and is it important for the coaching staff just as much as it is the players?
Yeah, it's important for I suppose you're you have certain messages every week. You have a certain plan that you're going into the game thinking it's going to work every week, and at times that has happened over the last few weeks. It just hasn't always happened. So to see some of the play that came out in the game, to see how we, it wasn't the best of starts. We ended up in our own 22 for quite a bit of the time in that first period. they kicked dead twice, but we defended really well a few times where a lot of the things we knew were going to happen. England are very good at getting into the opposition 22. It's about trying to win those moments and trying to stop them from scoring, whether you create a turnover on the floor or with your defensive pressure and you make them knock on or whatever it is. So to see that happening was great. And then on the other side of the ball in attack also, to see some of the bits that you're working on in the training ground come to fruition was great as well. I suppose the hunger of the players was enjoyable to watch as well, you know, right up to the end of the game, how hard they worked to produce a performance. So I think that's probably the satisfying thing as coaches you experience in the stand. Like, for sure, there's probably always pressure, but I'd say it's something Andy is quite good at handling with the coaches. You know, when we lose, he's good at taking the pressure off that way. But it's more you want to see the players getting rewards for how they're training and how they're preparing and what we're asking of them, and that's probably the most enjoyable bit for us.
Just the last question in the live section was with Tom, please.
Hi, Paul. How do you go about making sure that this team hasn't already hit an emotional peak? Obviously, the end of the England game was such a big catharsis, getting that record win. But how do you gear the side back up over the 2 weeks to then get ready to hit those kind of levels again in terms of the next 2 years?
Yeah, look, I think emotion doesn't play as big a role as it used to with the team. It's I would say the icing on the cake now. It's not the whole cake, and it's something. You know, it can look different at times. Sometimes things go your way with referee calls or mistakes the opposition might make, and it looks like you've gotten the emotion right because the game is going your way. I think it's something that the players are generally very good at in terms of how they prepare to play for Ireland. You know, we want them to be emotional, but we want them to be calm as well, and they manage that really well. So. You know, I think the week off was good for us. Probably came at a good time. 3 weeks in after a win, it gives you a chance to reflect as you head into the next game. So I think with the group we that'll play this weekend, I think they will be very hungry to produce a similar and better performance. The emotion or the worry about emotion isn't something that would have crossed my mind this weekend. It's just about, for us, it's just about getting better. I think that's what the excitement is for us as coaches, and that's what the excitement is for players. If you're focused on getting better and not so much the emotion of the occasion, I think it's easier to prepare well.